up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for July 1st, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Monday edition of the podcast. We have a lot to get to today, so let's just jump right into it. If you are waking up and have not heard the news yet, the Sixers early this morning, like around 3:30 a.m., agreed to terms with Paul George, 4-year, $212 million. It looks like the fourth year will be a player option. More on that in a minute. I want to get to the rest of the stuff because it was a busy day for the Sixers where they brought back Andre Drummond, who up until this point has been the best backup center that the Sixers has had behind Joe. And sort of one of those guys I don't know if anybody ever really wanted to get rid of in the first place. So between that and Adem Bona, it does appear to me anyway that Paul George will not be back, as both of those guys should fill in suitable for that. I think Bona is probably a better player than B-Ball Paul defensively. Andre Drummond brings that veteran presence. So it was a non-guaranteed contract anyway, so maybe in some weird roundabout way, Danny Ainge ended up helping the Sixers instead of hurting us the way he thought he was. But they also brought in Ben Gordon for a veterans minimum and brought back Kelly Oubre on the mid-level exception. Now, both of those are key because they won't count against the salary cap. So they were able to really just sign Andre Drummond and Paul George yesterday and still have salary cap space in order to sign another, whether it's a shooter, bench piece, or whatever it is. Klay Thompson is supposed to be meeting, which Klay Thompson 5-6 years ago, hell of a player. Klay Thompson now, I kind of almost see him fitting like a J.J. Redick role, coming off the bench, being a sharpshooter, if that's what he is willing to do. But take a deep breath. I don't hate it. And here's what I'm going to say. Paul George was not my top choice. I made that perfectly clear. But Joe appeared like he wants him, so why not? And I think they were just a victim of the circumstance of having all this cap space with this is what the free agent class was. So arguably they got the best free agent on the market. They had brought in some solid pieces. I'm a big fan of bringing back Kelly Oubre. He kind of just has like a Philly vibe to him anyway. But Andre Drummond and Ben Gordon bring that veteran leadership. Nick Batum is not coming back, and I don't know if that was on him, on the Sixers, a combination of the two, whether he's going to retire. I don't know. But like I said, I think if you take a step back and look at this from a 30,000-foot view, the Sixers front office is having a pretty damn good week with between the draft and now free agency. They're not done by any stretch of the imagination. I like it, though. I feel like you can only work with what you're given. And they got, like I said, arguably the best free agent out there. They brought in some veteran pieces that fit needs. Backup center when Joe goes off the court, that has been an issue. So between Drummond and Bona, defensively, they should be fine. It's just going to be up to whoever is still on the court, whether it's Maxey, whether it's Paul George. Those guys are going to have to be the guys now that Kelly Oubre even. Somebody needs to step up and take over the scoring. And I think defensively they're going to be fine when Joe's not there. And with the health of Joe and the age of some of these guys, it's all going to come down to Nick Nurse and how he manages them, the load management and everything like that. I do think as of right now, they're still not a complete team yet. They're right there in the mix, and that's all you can hope for, and that's all you can ask. And last year, they were right there until Joe got hurt. They were one of the better teams. So and again, this could be the biggest case of Stockholm Syndrome out there because the Sixers do this to me every year. I'm okay with what they've done so far. I'm kind of looking forward now to the season and seeing what we can do. And I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Nick Nurse to manage this the right way because of the age and the health of the players. But he's a championship-winning coach, and a lot of coaches, you win another championship with another team or a second team, all of a sudden your profile goes up. But we'll see. And like I said, this could be the biggest case of Stockholm Syndrome. But I think looking at it from draft day one till now, they've hit it out of the park. I really, really think they've hit it out of the park. And they also not hamstrung themselves for the future because the Drummond the Ben Gordon and Kelly Oubre don't hurt their salary cap. Joe is signed for 3 years with, I think his fourth year left is a player option. So basically it's Paul George and Joel Embiid now for the next 3 years at most. And then even that fourth year, you might have to take a step back depending on how these young guys develop. But with them having player options, if they both opt out, that could help you. Or if they both opt in and Joe is just a shell of himself, Paul George is over the hill, there's going to be teams that will take that on for expiring contracts that you get some draft picks or even players for. Or if the Sixers just hold on to them, let those numbers come off the book. So I know the NBA salary cap and the way the rules are different than the NFL, but I'm getting a lot of and I know they were working with the Washington Commanders team because Josh Harris owns them as well, but I'm getting a lot of NFL type vibes from these contracts, Howie Roseman-esque, and I like the way it's working out. And of course, it needs to translate onto the court, but so far, I'm happy. I do think there's a couple more bigger moves coming because they set themselves up now with the way the contracts are. And you get a guy like Kelly Oubre who wants to be here. Obviously, a guy like Andre Drummond wants to be here. So, obviously, Paul George wants to be here. And Joe wants him here. So, Stockholm Syndrome or not, I'm excited. This is the time where the crazy ex-girlfriend starts whispering in my ear, telling me everything I want to hear, and I'm falling for it all over again, only to have Lucy pull the football out from me like she always does. But until then, we're going to live it up. All right. It is July 1st, so I started this back in January, and to hold myself accountable and for anybody else out there who's doing a fitness, weight loss, health journey with me, it's the accountability time. It's the first of the month, and no weight gain for the month of June. And that's good in the sense that my diet has been shit in the whole entire month of June. Between the end of school, some vacations, some golf trips, it was a tough month to get consistency with my diet. And I know it just was very shitty. Beginning of summer, you're drinking more at the pool, so I need to really rein that in. I'm going to go back to hardcore counting my calories and things like that. A positive is I did start adding some running in, and with that, some yoga and stretching to make sure I'm not going to get injured. And knock on wood, about a month in, I'm actually able to run 30 minutes straight without stopping. I had my best time that I've had in a long time. I broke 11 minutes per mile on Saturday. So I'm going to continue the running. I got my new shoes, continue to incorporate the yoga. But I think the key for me this month is consistently counting the calories, knowing that there are going to be times where, especially this week with 4th of July, I'm going to go over. But hopefully this is helping you hold yourself accountable, because I know I was a little nervous to step on the scale this morning, but weigh the exact same as I did June 1st, which with everything that happened throughout the month, I just know I need to be more consistent. So there's my accountability piece. Hopefully August 1st, I'm coming up to you with at least a 5-pound weight loss, running more, and all of that. But if you need any advice or need to vent, you can always hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line, 267-495-8531. Text me, leave a voicemail. Just let's be accountability buddies or partners, and let me help you. You can help me, because I come on here every month and tell you guys where I'm at. But no weight gain. But the goal for this month is to be more consistent with my diet, eat more fruits and vegetables too. I've eaten a lot of processed and crappy foods. So we will get there. It is a marathon, not a sprint, but we're we're halfway through. I'm down about 20 pounds, so a little off my pace, but there's still plenty of time to get back on there. All right, good win. And actually, you know what? I'm going to say a great win for the Phillies yesterday, 7-6. And I say great because Ranger was not sharp. The defense was not sharp, doesn't even describe it. The defense looked like a little league team out there. The hitting was not sharp. 13 men left on base, 3 for 17 in runners in scoring position, but the bullpen held it down. Trey Turner on his birthday was clutch. Castellanos, I bet him for a home run yesterday, and I almost bet Bohm. And I was like, nah, Castellanos is due. He's going to have a big game. And he had a big game, 4 for 5, but didn't hit the home run. 3 RBI. And I think this is a great win because without really your 3 best players on offense, you struggled. But good teams find ways to overcome shitty play. And there's no other way to play it. The Phillies played like absolute shit yesterday. But somehow they were able to battle. And yes, I know it was the Marlins. But that was a great win. I like the fact that it doesn't matter if it's Harper and Schwarber and JT are in there. This team does not quit. And that is something you can't teach. That's one of those intangibles that is going to pay dividends for this team, especially once those guys come back. Again, not the best day, but a great win, and it just showed their resiliency. And to top it all off, thanks to our friends out in Pittsburgh who beat the Braves and through it all, the first series, I guess, post Bryce and post Schwarber, Phillies still have an 8-game lead. They're off today. They're in Chicago for 3, and then they have a gauntlet coming up. They have the Dodgers and Braves, so we need the pitching to be sharp, and we can't leave 13 men on base, and we can't go 3 for 17 with runners in scoring position. But we'll deal with that in the next week or two. But great win for the Phils, 7-6. Still have that 8-game lead. And I think for me, 5 is my magic number where I'm going to start sweating a little bit. Like if the Phillies have a 5-game, if that lead gets down to 5 or below, that's when I'm going to start worrying a little bit. But until then, it doesn't matter how you win, just win. And they were talking about it on the broadcast too. Like there's a lot of times where it's 162 games. This was a big win for the confidence and the psyche of this team. Being able to come back and not lose 3 of 4 without your best players to one of the worst teams in the league. So being able to salvage a split, it's a division rival. We talked yesterday about how there's just certain teams, no matter what their record is, especially for the Phillies, it seems like when they're good, that just has their number, and the Marlins seem to be that team. But we'll take it. We'll move on. Day off today in Chicago tomorrow. Be sure to go to phillygoat.com. Get the John Kruk is my spirit animal shirt. 10% of each sale goes to the Battle Brothers Foundation, who does great things for our vets. They need all the support, and it's one thing to say I support the vets. This is a way to actually put your money literally where your mouth is. Buy the John Kruk is my spirit animal shirt. 10% of your sale will go to the Battle Brothers. And then, of course, here I am waxing poetic about Daryl Morey and the Sixers because I have a toxic relationship with the Sixers and really all of our Philly sports teams. So Philly Goat, of course, has a shirt to celebrate your toxic relationship with Philly sports. Get the I have a toxic relationship with Philly sports as well. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. Show your Philly love. And I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm kind of hyped for the Sixers right now. And maybe it's just me drinking the red and blue Kool-Aid, getting suckered in by the same old song and dance by the Crazy X. But I really like the moves because I don't think they went and did things that are going to really hurt them long term. You had to go for it, and this is what you make do with what's out there, and this is what's out there. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. 267-495-8531. Get you in on the Back to the Future voice and text line. But be sure to go get those shirts from Philly Goat. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. We do have some Flyers news as they get ready to open up their free agency, and don't expect a lot from them. But Carter Hart the Flyers had until yesterday to tender an offer to Carter Hart if they wanted to retain his rights. The NHLPA and NHL said they're not going to change the rules for these guys involved with the sexual assault case in Canada. And to the Flyers' credit, kudos to them. They did not tender an offer to Carter Hart, so he is a free agent. No chance this dude ever plays again. But I think that says a lot about the focus and the makeup of the people in charge of the Flyers. They're like, nah, dude, these allegations are way too out there to even tender you an offer and pretend like you're going to come back because, I don't know. I like it. None of the guys that were involved in this that I know of got tendering or qualifying offers. So kudos to the Flyers and the NHL for taking a stand on that. But no surprises. Carter Hart will not be have anything to do with the Flyers moving forward. All right, today we're going to go back to 1951. And on this day in 1951, the Phillies lost to the Brooklyn Dodgers up in Brooklyn 2-0. Don Newcomb scattered 7 hits for the Dodgers in the complete game shutout. On the other side, though, the pitching for the Phillies was just as good. Russ Meyer and Jim Konstanty held the Dodgers to 1 hit. Yes, the Phillies held the Dodgers to 1 hit, but still lost 2-0. Pee Wee, this is a hard name to say. Pee Wee Reese hit a 2-run triple in the third after the Phillies gave up. Meyer gave up 2 walks, and it was a tough loss for the Phils. Anytime you have a 1-hitter, 2 pitchers combined for 1 hitter, and you can't get the win and you still get shut out yourself is tough. And this is still 1 year after the Phillies won the pennant. And at this point, after this loss, the Phillies were 10 games back on July 1st. Ended up finishing 23.5 behind the New York Giants that year. But on this day, a great pitching performance from Russ Meyer and Jim Konstanty went for nothing as the Phillies lost to the Dodgers 2-0, even though they only gave up 1 hit, which happened to be a 2-run triple by Pee Wee Reese on this day in 1951. All right, it is time now for our Ultimate Philly Sports Nickname Tournament matchups of the day. But first, let's start with a recap of yesterday's matchup. And our first matchup, the number 1 overall seed out of the Cheesesteak region, Chocolate Thunder took on the 16 seed, the Fog, and it was not even close. Everybody loves them, some Chocolate Thunder. 80% of you voted Chocolate Thunder to move on to the next round. And then in our Ben Franklin region, it was a lot closer. The number 5 seed, the Bull, took on the number 12 seed, Schmitty and Michael Jack. It was the Bull pulling out the win, 60%. Came in late. Mike Schmidt was winning most of the day, and I woke up this morning. There was a big push on TikTok for the Bull, and the Bull wins with 60% of the vote. Thank you, as always, for participating. And to get in, it's 267-495-8531 on the Back to the Future voice and text line. Voicemail, leave a voicemail, text message me. Hit me up on social media, Jimbo_Mott, Twitter and TikTok. At Philly Jimbo on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. You can text me, LinkedIn. Best way, though, leave a comment on the YouTube channel. And while you're there, subscribe, Jimbo_Mott. Today, though, we're going to the Balboa region. And, excuse me, the number 3 seed is the Minister of Defense. And he is taking on the number 14 seed, the Mad Dog. Let's start with the Minister of Defense. If you look over my left shoulder, there is my Reggie White starting lineup right next to my autograph. One of my all-time favorites. Reggie signed with the Eagles in 1985 after the USFL folded. Spent 8 years in Philly and registered 124 of his 198 career sacks. He's number 2 all-time behind Bruce Smith for that. But Reggie White, in my opinion, is the greatest pass rusher, defensive end of all time. In 1987, he played in 12 games. 1 game was lost because of the strike. 3 games with replacement players. 21 sacks in 12 games. To me, that is the sack record. Forget J.J. Watt and T.J. Watt and Mark Gastineau and Michael Strain. No, Reggie White had 21 sacks in 12 games. There's your sack record, ladies and gentlemen. He was a 7-time All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler with the Eagles. His number 92 is retired. He's on the NFL All-75th and 100th anniversary team, Eagles Hall of Fame, College Football, Pro Football Hall of Fame. And his nickname, for those of you who might not remember, Reggie was an ordained minister. So he was one hell of a defensive player. So that's why they called him the Minister of Defense. And again, one of my all-time favorites. Taking on the number 14 seed Mad Dog, Fred Carter was a guard and forward who was traded to the Sixers from the Baltimore Bullets. Freddie was a very good shooter, sharp shooter, tenacious defender, averaged almost 19 points a game with the Sixers, 4 assists in 6 seasons. He played on that infamous 9-73 1972-73 Sixers team, which over the course of 82 games is still, I believe they're tied with a team now for over an 82-game season. The 2011-2012 Charlotte Bobcats, they were 7-59, but that was a lockout shortened season. So winning percentage wise, that was the worst team. But Fred Carter was on that worst Sixers team ever. He also served as an assistant and head coach for the Sixers from 87 to 94. Just was almost as bad as that 72-73 team as a head coach, only winning 32 while losing 76. He was the original nickname player named Mad Dog in the NBA. And he got the nickname from he played some good defense. And one day in practice when he was in Baltimore playing good defense and bit one of his teammates, and hence the name Mad Dog stuck. So now it's your turn. Who has a better nickname? Is it the number 3 seed, the Minister of Defense, or the number 14 seed, Mad Dog Fred Carter? Let me know, 267-495-8531, or any of my social media. I'll give them out again. Now we're moving on to the Schuylkyll region and a 6-11 matchup. And the number 6 seed, Puddinhead, is taking on the number 11 seed, The Process. I swear this was complete luck of the draw. I did not plan to have this happen today. But let's start with Puddinhead. Willie Jones was a third baseman for the Phillies. He was on that Whiz Kids team, and he was in the field that day for this 1951 game where Russ, Meyer, and Jim Konstanty one hit the Dodgers, but the Phillies still lost. Played 13 years with the Phillies. He was a career 258 hitter, 180 home runs, 753 RBI, 2-time All-Star. He is in the Phillies Wall of Fame. And the origin of his nickname comes from a 1930 song, Puddinhead Jones is the name of the song. And in the song, they talk about Puddinhead Jones being slow, fat, and whatever. Well, Willie Jones was from the South, so he was a slow player in the field, didn't run very fast, and he had that slow Southern drawl. So in the song, they say Puddinhead Jones was fat and funny, dumber than sticks and stones. So poor Willie Jones, not necessarily the most positive nickname, but hey, I think it's one of the coolest. Puddinhead Jones. He takes on the number 11 seed, The Process, Joel Embiid. Number 3 overall pick in 2014. One of the best to ever play for the Sixers. 8 seasons so far. He spent his first 2 on the injured list, averaging almost 28 points a game, 11 rebounds. He has won an MVP, 7-time All-Star, All-NBA, 2-time scoring champ. And the origin, obviously, of his nickname is he is the poster child for The Process. He was the one pick that hit. And ever since then, multiple general managers have been trying to build a team around him. We just had a busy night overnight with the Sixers. Is this the best team he's been on? We shall see. But it's time for you to vote. Who has the best Philly sports nickname? Today our matchups are in the Schuylkyll region, the number 6 Puddinhead taking on the number 11 seed, The Process. And then in the Balboa region, the number 3 seed, Minister of Defense, taking on the number 14 seed, Mad Dog. Who do you got? 267-495-8531. That gets you in on the Back to the Future voice and text line. Send me a voicemail, text message me, whatever you got to do. Social media, Jimbo_Mont, Twitter and TikTok, at Philly Jimbo on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever you got to do. Text me. email, whatever you got to do. Get those votes in. Is it the Minister of Defense versus or the Mad Dog or Puddinhead versus the process? Let me know. On this day in 1951, the Phillies, Russ Meyer and Jim Konstanty, one hit the Dodgers, but the Phillies still lost 2-0 because Pee Wee Reese hit a 2-run triple after Russ Meyer walked 2 Dodgers. We will continue to follow the Flyers and Sixers free agent paths. Be sure to let me know what you think. Am I getting sucked in all over again like I always seem to do? Very much likely. I really think I'm the poster child for Stockholm Syndrome with the Sixers. But hey, they suck me in every time, man. Every time. Phillies are off today. Hopefully they can continue their magic here in Chicago while Bryce and Schwarber are out. We should be getting an update, I would think, on JT soon. It's been almost a month since he had that surgery, just to see where he's progressing and whether it's possible he's going to come back, or at this point they probably should just hold him out to the All-Star break as well. But we will see. Be sure to vote for the Ultimate Philly Sports Nickname Tournament and let me know who your picks are for today's matchup. Go have yourselves a Monday. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for July 1st, 2024. I'm Jim Montgomery, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.